These are your panelists. Take it away, Taylor.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out. Last panel of the day. So thank you so much ScareLA for having us. Let's just jump into things. So first, we have a wide variety of voices on this panel. For those of you who have been in the immersive theater scene, you'll know most of these companies. Heretic alone have been around since 2013. Rogue has been creating experiences for longer than that, jumping into the immersive scene last year with Kaidan Project, and then Sean Adams of Santu Deliria started 2 Halloweens ago. So let's give them all a round of applause for being on this panel. Yeah, these people are driving immersive theater here. So I'm going to start with a question since a wide variety of voices on this panel, I want to know what drives these people. What inspires them? What do they draw upon when they are creating this experiences and telling the stories that they want to tell? So, Chelsea.
Hi everyone. Well, one of the things that Rogue Artists Ensemble does hyper theater. So we like to create stories that use ancient storytelling techniques like puppetry, and we like to mix them with new technologies like projections and LED lights and things like that. So we often like to find inspiration in ancient stories, like we did a version of Pinocchio that's been around forever, and we also did Japanese ghost stories last fall. So anything that is ancient but still resonates with today is something that inspires us. And we are very proud of LA, so we like to make our stories very LA-centric if we can.
Adrian, you want to go next?
Well, I'm inspired by a lot of fucked up shit. So I guess I have a lot of, bad ideas in my head, and I put them to use, and they actually put them into action. I started going to haunts when I was really young, so traditional haunts is what I started. I really love haunted houses and getting the traditional jump scare. I went through a show called Blackout and Alone, and I found out that there were other types of experiences that could be offered. I just felt that the horror element was kind of missing, which is, monsters and creatures and all that. But I still love your show. So I wanted to give people something that if a monster came at you in the dark, it was going to tackle you to the ground and vomit blood on you and practically molest you. And that's kind of what my show is, but in a very fun way. So that's what Heretic is in a nutshell.
I think it was what inspires you. Right?
Yeah, it was what inspires you. What do you draw upon?
It's a good wrap up. I think just generally life inspires us, living life, being people in the world. That's my answer.
I duplicate that answer, but navigating your way through this awkward existence, scary as hell.
Oh, me?
What inspires you?
What is? So I'll just do with him because I can't actually hear the actual
Yeah,
question.
it's really hard to hear.
If you could interview me.
Yeah. So, what inspires you in your work?
Well, as far as immersive stuff goes, are we moving?
Were you shaping?
We can stand up and walk around too. Like, I don't mind standing.
All right.
Like immersiveness?
Alright, that was pretty immersive. So like that inspired me. Right? You see,
This is an immersive panel.
Like you too. Life inspires you, and for me, it's actually really boring things that inspire me. Like imagine you're sat in a bar with this one boring old guy who's talking about bowling or whatever for hours. You look around, there's no one else there. That's immersive. That's immersive to me, and I try and put that in a show, right? Something like that, immersive. Put it in a show.
Me standing, would you incorporate this into a show?
Just awkwardness in general, the fact that there are people at booths who can probably hear me right now, not knowing what's going on. It's all immersive to me. I shouldn't be here, right?
You should be.
That's immersive. The idea of being somewhere you're not supposed to be. Immersive. There you go.
Yeah. Sounds good. So moving on, there's been a lot of collaborations in the immersive space with so many creators. We actually found out there were more than 126 creators over the last 11 years in LA alone. I mean, that number is crazy to me. So with the amount of creators in here, we've seen a lot more collaborations. You know, Devon, you just collaborated with members of Screenshot and Whisper Lodge, what was that, 3 weekends ago, to create Prologue. Adrian's collaborated with everyone in Europe who's creating immersive theater pretty much. So with the amount of collaborations going on right now, can you guys talk about you know, what inspired those collaborations? What does a collaboration mean to you? And if you haven't done a collaboration, like who would be your dream immersive theater creator to collaborate with? And you can answer that even if you have done a collaboration. Devon, you want to start?
No. I think Adrian's got the most experience, as far as I know. You should start.
I really enjoy collaborating because it helps you creatively to figure out how to work with someone else and get their vision across, but also try to maintain and do what you do best and not get in their way. But it also opens up so many other opportunities, and it takes the stress off a lot of the work that you have to do, which is a lot on your own. So people in Europe, I think Europe has been a really strong immersive market that's growing right now, and I collaborated a year ago in 2017 for the first time, and it was a great experience. And then I moved to Switzerland, and Switzerland was even a much better experience. Unfortunately, I've only collaborated with one other person in the States, which I really loved. It was a really bizarre and interesting show. And I was hoped to collaborate with more people in the US, but I think it's been something that's been really fun for me, and it's just nice to work with somebody else. And again, we bounce ideas off each other, and I can still be who I am and do what I do, but also fit into their space. And I just collaborated with Haunting, so this is the first LA collab. If I were to collab with anybody, that is my dream. I mean, I think it would be these guys here alone, just because they're really cool guys, beautiful human beings. I don't know either of you, but I would love to collaborate with you too.
Are you guys down with that, Devon? Lawrence? Collaboration
We've
here?
decided in the green room we're gonna not collaborate on a show. We promise to not collaborate.
Yeah, I want to know, are you collaborating with this gentleman? Yeah, you, sir.
Well,
Oh, God. You know what? Bones and
Immersive.
muscles are sometimes not what they appear to be.
well, this gentleman is part of the ensemble. He's the star of our next show. Eugene Plummer. We got a commission from West Hollywood. Rogue has been collaborating with a lot of different theater companies in the cities and things like that to find different stories to adapt. But I think we would love to, I mean, we're pretty new to the immersive scene, and we're bringing a lot of puppetry and things to that scene, and we'd love to collaborate with anyone who knows, who's been doing it for a long period of time. And I think we want to do a lot more horror and stuff too. Nobody on this panel. Actually, probably everyone on this panel.
Can you restate the question?
Devon, who would you like to collaborate with? And
I guess-
what do collaborations mean for you? Like, what inspired you to collaborate even like 3 weeks ago? Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's much of a story, but I would say that I think that the collaboration would come kind of second toward what the concept of the show maybe would call for. Sorry.
There you go.
Is this better?
That's better.
So yeah, I guess collaboration would be second to kind of the concept of the show that would drive the show. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess I don't have a good answer for your about a few weeks ago with Nick. I mean, I just wanted to do something. He wanted to do something, and it worked out. It's a horrible answer.
Do you want to tell us about Australia? I mean, I'm sure people in this crowd have been dying to hear about how Australia went.
So, yeah, I think everybody does. So I'm going to pass this to Lawrence.
Hi. Australia went great. It wasn't really a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a couple shows down there, and it was very well received, and it was exciting to do. But in terms of collaboration, if that's still the question.
Still, long form question.
Who do we want to collaborate with? Okay, well, we do.
We would like to collaborate with anybody who would like to collaborate with us. Adrian's one of them. This guy, look at this guy.
And I think, like what we do in itself is collaboration between us, right? So even if we were not doing that, and whatever we do is kind of a collaboration with the audience. So it's not necessarily about the concept of collaborating, it's bringing in new ideas and fostering the general concept of what we're putting out. That's exciting. And if people are involved in it, that's great. And if no one's involved, then at least you're still collaborating with the audience.
Oh, I'm a total control freak. I won't collaborate with anyone. No, that's not true. I've collaborated recently, not with my own stuff, but I've worked on something else recently which wasn't to do with me, and it was a genuinely great experience. And actually watching how a team of people can collaborate and not kill each other, or not have one person kill everyone because they're fucking up for everyone else, you know. That was really impressive to me, and that was what the Counts did. I had a great time working with them, so I would collaborate with them again.
Yeah, that sounds great. Appreciate the
Can we
answer.
ask you
Sure.
about the collaboration question?
Oh God, put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Collaboration. Let me think on that, and I'll get back to you after the next
Like
question.
you're gonna email us all later?
Okay, fine. I mean, I agree a lot with like what Adrian is saying. Like, I think collaborations are amazing because you bring a strength or you bring something that you do very well to a scene, and then that other person, whoever you're collaborating with, also brings their strength. So it might be something that you're deficient in, or maybe even something that you wouldn't think that way. So I think when two kind of different companies get together, especially who have an outlook on immersive theater a little differently, you know, unless it's a case where Sean said where they want to kill each other, then I think you can really create something beautiful by bringing two different elements. So bringing something that's so surreal and so beautiful like you guys do with something extreme like Adrian does, I think could mesh really well. So in terms of who I would want to collaborate with, I think I'd go with Alone. Like, you guys were my first immersive experience. Like, I look up to you guys a lot. Like, that would be wonderful.
You go on.
Okay. So another thing that differentiates all the voices on this panel is the use of touch. So obviously we have, again, as I mentioned, Adrian, who you know, Heretic is known as one of the most extreme haunted houses in the world. You have things like Alone, which uses full contact, but it's not meant in an aggressive or physical manner. It's more meant to evoke emotion. You know, Santu, I think you guys have kind of spanned the realm on that. And then you have Kaidan here, which, again, they didn't touch you in Kaidan, you know, but there were giant puppets that chased you down a hallway. So, I mean, I would like to talk about kind of how your guys' thoughts on touch and how you guys incorporate that into your shows, and then where the line is for you. I think different shows have different lines. So obviously something like Heretic's line is going to be much higher than something like Alone's. But, you know, would you guys ever go a little harder? Would you guys go a little softer? Like that kind of talk. So
Adrian, definitely.
Adrian wants to start.
Adrian needs to start.
The physical aggression it does enhance the story, and it does pull you into it a little more. It is a responsibility when you do physical aggression, and it's something that I've had to learn over a span of time. I don't like to do it as much as I used to do it, but it does, if the storyline calls for it and somebody needs to be pushed against a wall or dragged because that's what the character is going to do to the guest, then I don't mind putting it in there. But I don't really want to put pointless torture in my show. And I think there's a lot of rumors about what I do and a lot of people that have talked shit about what I do, and I don't really appreciate it, but I don't really give a shit at the same time because I've been to Europe twice, and I'm going back again, and I've been doing this for 6 years when there wasn't a lot of immersive shows going on, so I wouldn't jeopardize my career or just my well-being by doing something extreme just to get in a headline. So I hope nobody has that idea about me or my show. But I do think aggression is what I started doing. It's something that I played with in many different ways, and I found that it just, people want to be vulnerable when they come in these shows. At least that's my experience when they come to my show. They want to be vulnerable and they want to be taken out of their normal pattern of thinking. And when you're grabbed and shoved against a wall and it's a monster and you're pulled into a story, it definitely takes you in a dark place. So I think a lot of people that come through my show are survivors and strong people that can handle that. And that's not to put anybody down that can't handle it, but it is definitely a niche audience that comes to my shows.
In Kaidan, we did not do a lot of touching. We had a lot of monsters running down hallways and things. But we did have one area that was kind of in between the really big monster in the end and everything leading up to it. And it was our little sandbox area where everyone had very intimate, small moments with these monk characters. And that's where the touch came in. That's where people got kind of personal, that you could spend 20 minutes talking to somebody about your dreams and holding hands or whatever it was. It was different for everybody. That's where touch really worked for us. And that's actually the spot that most people remember. That's the area of the story people will really remember. Because touch can be, like you said, really personal and can really enhance the story and just sears it into your memory.
I guess touch for us is always kind of it's always kind of inherent in whatever the scene is. So there's shows that have no touch or very little touch, and some that have more. And I guess just having the idea of touch is good, in that we then can use it in like kind of different ways. So yeah, I guess the scene, the concept of the show, or the concept of whatever that scene is, kind of dictates what the experience of the touch is, but having the notion of being able to be touched or grabbed or moved aggressively as like the high bar we can then work like within that space of, I think is something we use all the time.
Do you have like a favorite scene or a memorable scene in which you've used touch? Okay.
Yeah, I do. We saw that old film factory. I don't know what year it was. One of our shows, and you just entered a room, and it was longer than that. Just a woman in this empty room, dark, little blue light spilling on her. She had long hair, and she was just crying. And there were no instructions what to do. You're just in this woman experiencing this emotion, and she would put out her hands, not asking for you, but they were just there, presented her hands, and so everyone had a different reaction, and some walked around her, some held her hands, and some came up and hugged her. And so I think letting the audience choose what touch was appropriate was a really interesting moment, and just giving someone free will to respond to someone else's emotion, which probably doesn't happen for most people at all hours of the day. So I think that was probably the most interesting scene that involved touch. Which question?
Well, I would. Can you hear me by the way? Sorry. Okay. I would probably echo what you were saying about it being context specific. I don't ever create a show of being like, oh, touch a bunch of people in it. Like, it's more about if the character in the show would touch you in that scene, in that context, then they're gonna touch you. If they would be nice to you, they would touch you that way. If they were gonna choke you, they would actually choke you and you would start to die. But it's entirely, I never set out to create a show like that. It's just, it seems silly to be in a show with, for example, someone who's deranged and they wouldn't touch you in some way. So that's the only reason I do it. I don't particularly like touching people. But yeah.
Do you have a memorable scene or anything, Sean?
memorable scene about touching people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you think
Maybe your
about
last
touching
date.
people?
My last date? I did touch someone on my last date, but that wasn't immersive. Something that was immersive, where I touched someone. No, you know what? Confidentiality, I'm not allowed to say, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
It was a good one, lads. Trust me, it was really good.
Actually, we didn't ask Adrian what his favorite
Yes.
scene was.
From my show.
From your show.
Just say from your show, the first alone show that I went to. I can. Yeah, there was a scene in a shower. There was a woman staring at me, and that moment. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give it away. That's my personal moment, but it was very bizarre, creepy, beautiful, all in one movement. So for me, that was the moment that stuck with me. In immersive spaces.
Yeah.
Immersive.
5 minutes. Okay. Let's go quicker then. Let's look to the future. So obviously there's been a lot of growth in the immersive scene. So things like Meow Wolf in New Mexico, Sleep No More obviously in New York, 2 Bits opening here in LA, kind of being a home for immersive. So we're starting to see some more like long-term, large-scale immersive attractions. So if you guys could look forward to the next 5 years, either for your company or the immersive scene in general, where do you see it going? Where would you like to see it going? Let's start with Sean.
Why are you starting with me? I shouldn't even be on this
Mixing
panel.
it up.
Mixing
Mixing
it
it
up.
up.
I became immersive by mistake. I made a show for my friends, and for some reason there were a bunch of people who were into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me where it's going? I have no idea. Where's it going? People will keep doing it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's gonna live on then.
Sure. People like being talked to, people like being touched, people like this kind of stuff. It will keep going, it might get bigger, it might get smaller. The studios will probably get involved and fuck it all up, but it's going somewhere, you know? Like, it's gonna keep going.
And I'm thinking
Alone,
no
I'm
one
gonna
else-
keep going.
It doesn't. No one else needs to answer. I think that's pretty much it.
I guess, having just been told I don't need to answer.
Yeah, you don't need to
I'm
answer.
still gonna answer, but for us, I guess, there's like all those kind of like bigger immersive spaces or whatever, and I think for us it really doesn't affect what we do, in that we just will kind of keep doing what we're doing when we do it, we're able to do it, and I guess I don't have an opinion about like what those things do outside of like what our show is and what our show does. We should just kind of keep plodding along in the same trajectory, kind of doing what we do, which is hopefully doing something new and slightly interesting each time.
Yeah, I think the movie industry is going to take over. There's going to be a lot more of the commercial type of experiences, which is fine. I mean, I get it. As far as what I'm doing, I mean, this is my last year here in LA, and my hopes is that I move to Europe and just end there, because that's where I would like to go. But I hope it grows. My hopes is that immersive theater grows, it continues. People like Alone and others get to do the shows that they want to do and give people options, and we're not just stuck with big commercial type things. And I think that that's the worst crime. People should be able to create art, people can go through it and choose what they want to and not want to do. And that's said to the audience too. I mean, I should be able to create my show, and maybe you don't go to it, but maybe some people want to go through it, but I should be allowed to do it.
Yeah. Underground will live on.
Word.
Echoing all of that, yeah. I mean, my hope is that this kind of work will open people up more to theater and seeing theater, and help theater just in general as an experience that's different than a studio film or Netflix or anything like that. I am excited that it's making people excited about going out of their homes and having these kinds of personal experiences in theater or with people. I don't know.
Great. Well, I'm going to ask one more because I don't care about time limits. But does anyone want to tease something upcoming for maybe next season, Halloween season, anything? No. Shut up, Sean. No, nothing. Come on,
tease
here.
our show tomorrow. We're gonna tease you at our show tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You can't tease us now?
I'm gonna tease you. I'm gonna tease the people. We're gonna tease people.
Yes.
Tease. Adrian's got a good answer though.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I have Exoskeleton in September and Switzerland in October, but I just wanted to say, because this is my last year, thank you to all the guests that have come through my show and supported me, regardless of any rumors or anything. I love you all, each and every one of you who have helped me and my wife continue this. My wife is not here. She's the CEO and has been helping me get this through and get through all of it. So thank you to all my guests, all the supporters, to Taylor and to everybody on this panel, and to just the fact that I got to be up here. I'm very appreciative, so thank you.
Thanks for being on it.
You could guess what I'm gonna tease. We are doing an immersive, interactive show in Plummer Park in West Hollywood. We were commissioned by the West Hollywood to write a play called Senior Plumber's Final Fiesta, which is based on an actual guy, Eugene Plummer. This is him. And he wrote this book that's interviews with him, and he has these very fabulous hyperbolic stories about early LA. So the whole play is you going into his memories. It's historical, but it's more about what he remembers as historical. There is a scary moment where you go into a dark room with only a flashlight and have to explore his dark memories, dark violent things in LA. And then there's lots of music and dance and puppets, so that's coming up in October.
That's awesome. Let's give everyone on the panel a big round of applause. Oh, Adrian's got one more thing for us.
Sorry, I just want to say thank you to my actors too. I love you all, you're my family, and you are the best people on this earth. I love you all very much.
So again, Sean Adams of Santu, Deliria. We got Devon, Paulson, and Lawrence Lewis of Alone. We got Adrian Marcato of Heretic. And then Chelsea Sutton of Rogue Artists Ensemble. And I'm Taylor Winters of Haunting. Thank you all for joining us.
We're not doing a Q&A.
What?
Are we out of time?
Yeah, we're out of time.
Oh. Goodbye then.